On a spooky night in the year of 1773 Japan, a blind masseuse named Muneyoshi, he bids his family goodbye to travel to the household of a samurai named Shinzaemon, and this is to collect a fee that he owes him. But having no intention of paying the old masseuse back, Shinzaemon decides to kill him. And then he orders his servant Kanzo to dispose of the corpse in the Kasane Swamp. But shortly after this, the samurai is visited by Muneyoshi's vengeful ghost, and this causes him to accidentally kill his own wife. And in his moment of fear, the doomed samurai ends up stuck in the mud of the Kasane Swamp, and he drowns. But he leaves behind a son named Shinkichi, and the servant Kanzo takes this infant to Edo, and he leaves him on the steps of this upscale shop. 20 years later, Shinkichi is now a servant of the shop owner, and he has a romantic interest in a woman named Hisa. She likes him, but she's already arranged to marry someone else, the son of a rich family. Meanwhile, Shinkichi has gained the affection of an older woman, and this is his music teacher. However, she happens to be the slain masseuse's daughter, and from there things get pretty spooky. So director Nobuo Nakagawa directed a ton of films, nearly 100, but only a small number of those were actual horror films. Yet it's those films that are the most well known. And this is especially just outside of Japan. This includes the Ghost of Yatsuya, 1959, and Jigoku, 1960. Those are definitely the two that he's the most known for. And I personally just love both of those films. I believe they're brilliant and some of the best Japanese horror films ever made. And actually, Ghost of Yatsuya is really the most famous Japanese ghost story. There's just a ton of movies and adaptations that cover that story. But I believe that his is actually the best adaptation. And I do have a review for that movie on this channel. But a couple of years before that film, he directed the film The Ghost of Kasane Swamp. And the two films have a lot in common. In particular, just the same kind of ghost woman. It's a similar sort of design. And I also know some other similar concepts that would later be in the film Kaidan. And the story of the Kasane Swamp was a famous play that was written all the way in 1859. And this Kasane tale has been readapted over half a dozen times at least. Two of which were by Kimiyoshi Yasuda, who did the Daimajin series. I'll also add that this is a really short film. I couldn't believe it, but it's only 66 minutes. But somehow it does do a lot in that time frame. And it doesn't really give the movie a chance to really drag on, which is nice. I also like how you could just put this film on anytime you want, and it's not really too much of a time investment. You know, more movies should be shorter like this. Yet I will say it does do its job of just giving you a pretty spooky atmosphere. You know, that's what I want. And I just love some of the sets in this film. In particular, just the snow in the beginning. I just love the way it looks, just how it's in black and white and it's an older film. I don't know, there's just something intriguing about it. And the swamp too just has a great, creepy, desolate feeling to it. And most importantly though, I'll say the ghosts in this definitely look creepy. It's very similar to Ghost of Yatsuya. And I just love how these old Japanese horror films always just get that so right. It's kind of funny how old movies from the 50s are somehow scarier than most modern horror films that we get now. Horror movies now just look too clean and polished. I love how these older films actually look dirty, foggy, just unpleasant. The key of what makes horror so effective is just getting that atmosphere right. And I'll also add that the performances in this are pretty strong for just movies of this time period. You know, a lot of older Japanese movies exaggerate the acting and almost becomes comedic. Here there's a lot less of that. I'll say that they're engaging enough. Also, you have a role in this played by the superstar Tetsuro Tamba. And I just realized just how many movies this guy's been in. Especially lately, it seems like he's in every movie I've just been reviewing. This samurai horror genre is definitely becoming a favorite of mine, just because it really just sets the scene perfectly for what horror should be. You get that desolate, creepy atmosphere, and just the superstition and karma that they believed in. It aids itself well with ghost stories. And the only real redemption that happens in a lot of these films really just comes from the afterlife, and that's just a creepy concept. And I'll also say that the revenge plot in this is pretty interesting when you think about it. Because right in the beginning, when Shinzaemon kills the masseuse, he ends up meeting his death soon after that. Yet the ghost of the masseuse isn't satisfied with just the one who killed him. For some reason, it stretches beyond that, and that's sort of a terrifying concept. After this, I'll definitely just have to rank all of the samurai horror films, just because there seems to be a lot of these, and I'm just enjoying them so much. Anyway, this film may not be as well known as Ghost of Yatsuya, but I'll say that it's just as good. And the story itself is basically the same in structure to that film. There is also similarities in actions and fates of some of the characters. And also a body of water is the central motive for death in both of these films. Anyway, if you want to see this film, it's widely available on DVD. And as of this recording, I got mine from the website Fifth Dimension Films. Hopefully we could get this film included in a nice box set one day. I know that Ghost of Yatsuya was just included in one that I just pre-ordered, so I'm looking forward to that. And it seems like a lot of other just old school samurai Japanese horror films seem to be getting proper releases lately. So that's definitely nice to see. Anyway, I really enjoy the spooky atmosphere of these older Japanese horror films, and I just can't get enough of them. Anyway, thanks for watching.